Welcome to the Black on the Block podcast, where we're all about preserving the black family. Everything is pro-black, but don't get it twisted. We respect everyone, but we love our people first.
What up, y'all? This is your soul sister, Kae Maree, and we are Black on the Block.
This your favorite guy, Coach Scrap, and you listen to Black on the Block podcast.
This is your humble servant, Pops, and you are listening to Black on the Block.
Hey, y'all. This your girl, Neka B. Welcome to Black on the Block.
Say, open the door, let me in. Teach a song, preach a sin. Turn the cheek, let it slide. Give 5 on the black hand side.
Hey, what's going on? What's going on? You listen to Black on the Block podcast. Hey, we got some interesting topics today. Before we get started, I want to shed light on one person that had to ultimately leave the block, unfortunately. Frankie Beverly. He gave us some great music. He gave us some timeless music, great entertainer. I think he probably had one of the best chitlin circuits on the water, on those cruise ships ever in history. Definitely gonna be missed. He had some great music, great collaborations. I know a lot of artists in the industry was heard about that. A lot of people, a lot of grandmamas, granddaddies, aunties, uncles, mamas. You know, a lot of people was heard about that when he was. I want to say he had just did a song other day before he got up out of here. But we're gonna definitely remember Frankie Beverly. We want to remember him.
We also lost Tito Jackson.
Yeah.
A founding member of the Jackson 5
Tito.
this week.
Tito Jackson. We lost Tito Jackson.
Let's not forget what the Jackson 5 did and the impact they had on music and the culture.
I thought when Michael left, it was kind of all right. We were done with Jackson. It's like Michael and Janet, and then it's No, I mean, I feel what you're saying, but it's kind of like Michael, Janet, Joe. He gone. Did Tito ever have a part?
Oh,
he was the guitarist. He was the reason they became a group to begin with.
Well, Tito wasn't the reason they became a group.
He was, because Joe caught him playing
Jackson
with his guitar. It started with Tito breaking his father's guitar, and he saw how good Tito was, and Mom said, "Look at what these boys have been doing while you've been at work." I just saw the MJ musical last night, by the way. It is
I say Kae Maree knows. If anybody knows, she knows the story.
I'm not gonna deflect from that.
But you know what?
With the music.
But hold on now. Above all things, he made jokers with the name Tito relevant. Come on now. Joker's name Tito.
Yeah, Tito's vodka, all that.
He jumped that Tito thing out, man. He jumped it out.
Yeah, for sure. We definitely
he said Tito stood for the incredibly talented one.
Okay.
Who said that?
Yeah, when he was young and
he
being
said
interviewed.
That. He said that.
He was cool. They were all cool.
Yeah. Is that the one that had the slick down on the side?
Oh, no.
That's Jermaine.
That's Jermaine.
That's Jermaine, okay.
Tito, probably the most authentic looking brother.
Looked just like Joe.
The ball
like
head guy.
No, he had a fro. He had a fro.
He looked like Joe. Didn't all of them look like Joseph?
No. Thank God.
Moving along.
This thing that went off the rails.
Right.
That Tito kind of sent me. I
can see on your face.
Yeah.
Man, Tito the only one like he could scrap about the Jackson 5. Let's just be honest.
I got you.
But Tito looked like he had hands.
I got you. Rest in peace, Tito. And speaking of funerals, when I go, I want y'all to make sure nobody puts a cutout cardboard of me in a clear casket.
What?
And I mean, they had a clear cutout of my man Frankie Beverly.
Yeah, I saw that.
In the clear cat, it had pallbearers.
Mm-hmm.
Don't
Are you serious?
As a heart attack.
Yeah.
I didn't. That's crazy. I mean, I was just toting it around in different places.
Why?
Because we just do a lot of crazy stuff. We just
might get it documented and notarized.
Go get it notarized.
Let me tell you, I told my niece, because she will be the one to do it, I better not be on nobody's t-shirt. You understand me? Like,
yeah, don't do that. Don't do that.
Under no circumstances. Yeah, don't do so you heard it here. Do not let them put me on a t-shirt.
Yeah, you made 100 t-shirts, and they wear it all day. They wear it at the funeral, the repast, and
the balloon release.
Like, yeah, and you know how like you know we like to go kick it later on.
Right.
Like ain't nothing happened.
Like, right.
Everybody fine now.
Pour one up for auntie.
Yeah, oh yeah, you get the smoking on the little stuff you want to smoke on, drinking, eating again. You just had repast.
Now look, this could be somebody hollering at your husband and your with your face on the t-shirt.
That's crazy.
But it's stupid already.
Look, no disrespect.
no disrespect. We gonna miss him.
But in other news, and for real, definitely rest in peace to Frankie Beverly. Rest in peace to the one and only Tito Jackson.
That's right.
So I think this was episodes on episodes ago when the stories first started hitting about Puff Daddy, Sean Combs, Diddy,
the Diddler.
The Diggler. I definitely don't. You know what? I'm not gonna say that. I'm gonna let the blogs have that. I'm not gonna say it. The original Freaknik. He has been caught, incarcerated, and taken in. I would be remiss to say. I know you like that, nigga. Innocent to proven guilty. What we do know at the time is that he was caught with like 2,000 bottles of baby oil, and they
think it was 1,000.
Yeah, they did put out. They did prove that I think in 2020, 2021. When COVID was really running rapid, he was keeping Johnson & Johnson in business. And that's crazy to me. I hope what they're saying about this man is not true. Don't raid my house and find 1,000 bottles of baby oil. Like, why do I have that?
Because of why? Yeah.
And why is that in the indictment? I mean, that's weird. I mean, it was almost like we don't embarrass this joker.
Yeah,
but we don't be able.
Yeah.
Yeah, like why is that in my paperwork?
Right.
That's crazy.
They want to get a podcast.
He may have used it in a sexual assault.
But that's not typically in an indictment. They don't normally but that explicit. They wanted to get a podcast or something to talk about.
They got one right here.
Definitely got one. Hey, that's what it was for.
Yeah, I've been waiting to get on this mic for a while. Just to talk about this baby oil. That's crazy to me though. I definitely hope. I heard different people saying different things. I know 50 Cent made a comment the other day, and what's crazy is that he was trolling him. Like, why does as soon as like the little raid or whatever happened to his house about a month or so ago, 2 months ago, 50 Cent had been trolling him. Once he got arrested, it surprised me that when 50 Cent made a statement, he said, and Pops, I know you talk about it all the time, he's making the powers that be uncomfortable. Other liquor company that he did actually own was Deleon or whatever like that, which is terrible. But anyway, he actually had ownership with them, and something was going on with both, and now he locked up. And like I said, Pops, I know you talk about it all the time, and I had to take a minute and think about it. We're not talking about a person that make $100,000. We're not talking about a person that got a couple $1 million. Like, dude, see real money. Like when you're able to be on this earth And because if you look at his plea deal, this man saying, I stay in one of my homes and one of my 3 homes in Miami, one of my homes in New York or New Jersey, maybe California, and you got your own island, you got your own place. Saying I sell my plane. Like when you have all that type of stuff, you're making a different type of money. And I just feel like, don't get me wrong, I understand that we can be successful in life as Black people, but I feel like when you making that type of money in the world, like real talk, when you making that type of money, somebody's allowing you to make that type of money. And I can understand that, like, you get to making some people uncomfortable, we can take all this away from you.
Just look around. All you have to do is look at history, read the tea leaves, and he's just a part of it, but it is also a demonstration of the unseen hand. But it's sending messages to the right people. This is what you don't do. I mean, I'm down in such a different strata. It's not really gonna affect me, but to those that could possibly step out of line, they read the message loud and clear. It's a lot of people nervous today.
I want to go back to something you said, that Diddy possibly made some people uncomfortable. What do you mean when you say that? Are we talking about the liquor brands? What are we talking about?
It all. Like I can understand it from the liquor brands, because if you making from what I read, he was making up to $60 million a year with Ciroc.
Mm-hmm.
You don't even own it. So when you go to talking and want to sue people and do all this, all right, Doc, we got you. We got you, Playboy. You don't dance no more.
But okay, and I agree with you to a certain degree. I think at certain levels of success, then you are more privy to those type of attacks, if you will. However, that's all the more reason to protect yourself. Meaning, I'm gonna have a certain group of people around me. I'm gonna behave in a certain way. Like I think sometimes when when we get to that certain status, we feel invincible. And then, and we feel covered in our actions, not necessarily justified, but definitely covered. And I think we get way too complacent and comfortable. And I think that's what's transpired. I'm not as concerned as the reason why he's being attacked, other than why would you foolishly leave a trail for yourself such as this? To me, that's just foolish. There's a level of arrogance.
They're groups so powerful that they can even make wise men seem foolish. Like, and I'm not saying that he was not foolish, but I'm saying that I can only imagine some of the circles and some of the rooms he sat in. And so I think once you get up beyond a certain level, there is no proper exit. You exit the way they want you to exit. And I'm sure that I don't know what could prepare you to get in some of those rooms, because there are some groups, they have an understanding of how they work their way up because it's passed down throughout their generations. There are some folks, they catapult up there and they're totally unprepared, and separating some of the things that he's done, like the rumors, separating that and just putting it over to, if you think you're going to join a particular club and not understand that there are violations, you can get violated. Certain organizations, you break certain rules, you get violated. And what we might be witnessing is high level violation. A lot of folks have known about this for a long time. A lot of the people I'm sure you all love, they've known about it. They've been, and that's why I said a lot of people are nervous, because it's not just what was done right or wrong. It's like in an investigation, they say, well, what did you know and when did you know it and what did you do once you found out? And there are a lot of people that probably saw some things and didn't act on it. And if it was memorialized on video or documented via email,
right. They said he had cameras and stuff all over his house. There's no telling what he called, no telling what that involved. I think we need to make sure that we state his official charges. I don't remember us saying that. So sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice were his official charges. It's a heavyweight list, is what I'll say.
Yes,
yeah. It is. And I cannot separate the two. Yes, he may be, obviously he is part of something bigger. This is bigger than him. However, he did some of these things.
Yeah.
So I can't separate that. The evil acts, I cannot separate that.
I'm not
he's
sure.
not a victim. He's being used as a pawn, but he's done some evil things.
You can be both.
And
you can be a victim
say,
and an abuser. You can be both.
Well, and you can, but I don't believe he is. I believe his sons, who are allegedly involved with it, they would be considered victims and perpetrators. The two sons that have lawsuits against them as well. But I don't believe Diddy is a victim. I believe Diddy has a personality disorder, possibly antisocial or narcissistic personality disorder. And I don't believe he's a victim.
And I think that's what Pops was alluding to. And that's how the picture can be painted for a lot of people. Like, I mean,
but
and
the
everybody's
evidence is there.
No, and I understand that. But when you are a part of something that powerful, in my personal opinion, you get to do stuff, you get to get away with things, you get to do this and do that. He's not a regular guy.
He's a victim of his own ego. He's a victim of his own ego. But hold on though. He's not a regular guy. I honestly feel like when you got that type of power, you got that type of money. Like dude slick old for real. Like we ain't better. Like dude ain't 30. He live life like he is. Like dude old. And so he been making a certain type of money since the 90s. And when you've been making a certain type of money, you've been with all type of women, you can do all type of sex you can do. You can do a 4-some or 8-some or 20-some or 30-some, whatever. You done had other guys in the room, which y'all done had out. All that stuff it can seem true. Did he the assault that was witnessed on camera pissed me off. I hated that. And not only that, I hate it more so that it's posted more than it happened. Because I mean, we know that this happens. Like the regular guy down the street will beat on his woman every day, every Sunday. But the fact that it was posted, and like Pops alluded to, this been going on. Whatever he's been doing, I agree with you, Kae Maree. He has done some of these things. No doubt about it.
Not only that, Scrap, but what I want to take Kae Maree back to. That's why I said I wanted to separate. Because it's difficult for us to think about it in the proper way if our emotions are connected to it, and it's a very upsetting situation for you to think about people being mistreated. So that's why I said separate that out. What I wanted to say was that we would be surprised if we knew how many people do things similar to him, but they're not held accountable. That's what I'm saying.
I definitely agree with that. Yeah.
He's what I mean by a victim. Stick with me, Kae Maree. What I mean by a victim, sometimes you think you in the club until they show you how low you were on the totem pole. Bill Cosby comes to mind. That another person that was in the same federal prison, allegedly, that P. Diddy is in, somehow with the highest security federal prison, he happened to unalive himself because he knew a lot about a lot of other people doing those same things that some people get held accountable for and some people don't. What I'm saying is they can train this huge system against you if they want, and sometimes they'll give you a pass. And this thing goes, I can only imagine, because we're down on the ground when they're in the stratosphere. I have no knowledge. I only have an imagination. And I can only read the tea leaves, but I can just about imagine we would be shocked if we knew some of what went on. And see, this type of information is trickled out. They allow what comes out. They can cut it off like a spigot. So don't overreact to what you've been allowed to hear.
Let me say this. I'm not overreacting, and I'm thinking about it clearly. I just don't agree.
With what?
I don't agree that he's a victim. So I'm thinking about it clearly, taking emotions out of it. I mean, obviously, I feel passionate as a human being about abuse, but I just don't agree with it.
I'm saying a victim of a system.
He's a victim of his ego. Well, he brought that on him. I understand, but he brought that on himself. He knows this system is set up against Black men. He allowed his ego to think he could get away with these things. He allowed his ego to think he was equal to these other people who are bigger than him. So he is a victim of his ego.
I will say this. I was speaking to somebody yesterday. It came up, and they were reading something that said that they had him on suicide watch, and I was like, "Oh, that's a setup." That's
you
a
know
setup. Yeah, that's a setup. Just speaking of the person that unalived himself supposedly.
Right.
Again, I got you in this box now. So, they denied bond, right? So there's no escaping this for him. He has a whole lot of information on a whole lot of people. Cameras, again, I stress this, were all over his home. It's just no telling who's on there doing what. And anytime things like this and circles like this exist, the gavel is gonna fall on somebody. And unfortunately for Diddy, it fell on him, right or wrong. So
I think he'll be back out. Honestly.
Again, I think the whole suicide watch thing is a setup. We'll see.
Yeah, I hope, despite how I feel about him and these allegations, I hope nothing happens to him in there. I mean,
and I think even just going back to the abuse, and I'm not saying it's nothing, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. Like, it's so much deeper than that. Again, it's just no telling. They released the video because they know that would evoke emotion, right? And from a certain group of people. But that's the tip of the iceberg. That's nothing in comparison to what all's been done.
And Neka B, when you said they released that video, think how long they've had access to that video. And they could have released it at any. Think of what we're probably going to find out, and I don't know, but I would imagine that what we're going to find out, a lot of these instances are years old, and I wonder, did they know about it already? And if they've known about it for some length of time, what precipitated this action now? And like Scrap, you alluded to 50 Cent. Was it that he upset the wrong people?
Yeah, I know his lawyers made a statement about some of the sexual allegations that's been brought up now. And I think the allegations that was brought up, they said it was like a statute of limitation to it because they actually was brought up first in 2003.
Right.
And so they're trying to bring some of that stuff back. And I think he's already been found not guilty on a lot of those accounts. Which was the same thing which a lot of people I don't think know. It was the same thing with R. Kelly's situation. A lot of the stuff that he had got accused for this time, he actually had went to court for real and they locked him up. A lot of that stuff got threw out because he had already got found not guilty for it. So
another example of being a victim and a perpetrator.
Yeah,
he was a victim of some bad act by his older sister. Allegedly,
that was definitely
allegedly. And then, of course, you can read things that will often say that sometimes when a person is abused, sometimes they could turn that on someone else later on. It doesn't always happen, but it is certainly possible for it to happen.
In other news, though, we got my man. We talked about old Tyrese Gibson. I know Kae Maree's a big fan of his music. This man was locked up, and we was just talking about child support and who need to pay it and who don't need to pay it. Obviously, he need to pay it. Ain't no if and buts behind that one. Say my man got put in custody over $73,000 of back child support. And I read an article that he had spoke on. To him, he feels like the judge got something against him because I guess he's been in front of the judge a couple of times. I don't know. And he feel like the judge got something against him. They would not release him until he what did he have to do?
Have to pay the full amount.
Is that? But they wanted him to like willingly put himself into contempt as well. And that bothers me too. What you just said, Neka B. I don't care if you owe $5 back. How am I gonna pay this if I'm behind bars?
All right. So we're not gonna talk about the $5, okay? But I will say this.
It's definitely
all right.
It's definitely
So dig a little deeper.
Yeah.
So his court order was actually to pay $10,690 per month. Right. That was based on the same amount that he pays per month for an older child. Okay, so let's talk about that, right?
Yeah.
Did the math. Combination of that, those two child support orders equal to $256,000 a year. Okay, that's a lot. Okay, that's a lot. Okay, if I'm paying $10,690 a month times 2. Right. Again, that's a lot of money. Even for somebody with Tyrese's status. Going back to our conversation previously, is that justified in taking care of a child? I've raised 2, well, more than 2, but 2 that's mine, and it never took me that amount to raise my children.
What 200,000 would it did for you?
One
time. It's one time.
Listen, right? So to my understanding, what I read, out of the last 20 payments, he's only made 3 full payments, hence the $73,000 that he was in arrearages, right? So, it's not that he wasn't paying anything, but that's a lot of money, and that's a lot.
And right, that's what I definitely want to try to say. He wasn't taking care of his business. I think he had got up into that point. He had got up to whatever point, and this is what they wanted. Yeah. Like he can't never stop performing. Ever. Like he need to be on tour. Like he need to be on tour after tour, Fast and the Furious after Fast and the Furious. He can't stop working.
Right.
That's crazy.
Or give me my kids. I just do give my kids.
And his daughter is still young, I think, if I'm not mistaken. She's like 5 or 6.
Yeah, he got a little ways to go.
So he got, and then think about it, when you get older, then you go ask for more because you spend it more. There's more expenses, and so that's not fair. That's not right. Even alluding back to our conversation last week or week before last, there should definitely be some caps. I'll say that for sure.
You don't think there's any secondary reason that he's doing that and that he did not pay? Do y'all think it's something else that he might be trying to accomplish?
Well, whatever he's trying to accomplish, you need to stop.
It's not working.
Well, see, actually, well, this is what I'm thinking, because I was like, why is he not paying? Why is he doing all of this? I wonder if he's trying to bring attention to it, and it's like him being arrested, all of this pomp and circumstance, it's spawning conversations, and he wanted from this was, and it's not funny, but a while back he wanted people to show up and like protest, and there was not that many people that showed up, but since he's actually put in handcuffs and those images, it's touching a lot of people. And so I'm wondering if he's trying to get attention to the broken child support system. And also Neka B, a scrap, you all mentioned that he had been in front of this judge and he thought the judge didn't like him. But guess what? You always deal with humans. Well, I don't know if in the future, how with AI, I don't know how it would be. But right now, if you make a human upset, even if it's a judge, and they have some leeway, they might do something that's a little bit punitive if they don't like you.
You got the power to push the pen.
It happens all the time.
And I mean, of course, like to me, that's, I mean, almost part of life. We're Black in America, right? So that's been used, I mean, consistently, systematically.
Yeah,
so yeah,
I think it is sparking some good, healthy conversation, because this system is broken, and this is why I feel so bad. This is why I really feel for Tyrese, because it's not fair. It's not fair. Like you said, Coach Scrap, this man will never be able to stop working at this rate. And let's be honest, how long do Black actors thrive in Hollywood unless you're Will Smith, unless you're a Denzel? The roles are so limited. The good roles are so limited.
Well,
so I mean, I really do feel for him.
He need to take over that chilling circuit, Frankie Beverly, and start singing.
In the words of 50
is on tour.
Yeah.
In the words of 50 Cent, have a baby by me, be a millionaire. That's a lot of people goals. So hey,
because unfortunately,
might not be a bad business plan, actually.
like Neka B just said, man, we're black in America, and unfortunately, and Kae Maree, you're right. It's started some good, healthy conversation, but it's between us.
You know, connecting it to voting, when you said these conversations won't change, you know, in essence won't change, but it actually will if people put, you know, because if the right advocates, and I mentioned this previously, now that more moms are non-custodial parents, watch things shift, because when women are affected in certain ways, they have more of a bully pulpit, and especially sisters, they can move the needle on issues. A woman knows how her brother is being treated or mistreated. A woman knows how her son is being treated or mistreated. And you might be a daughter that all you ever wanted was a connection with your daughter. And once you found out some shady stuff that was going on, so once folks realize, you know what, this is not fair, things will change because their voices are going to change the needle. It's going to move the needle.
I agree. And somebody got to pop out there first, but I don't think Tyrese is the.
He just was a catalyst.
Yeah,
he was just. Or you say he need to be the back for it? Don't be the face. Because he on his way about this.
Right.
It's probably gonna have to be a couple regular guys.
Listen, don't cover my regular guys.
It's been regular guys for years.
It's gonna be the women.
I think this child support and all of this stuff around these past relationships, I think that is exacerbating or maybe even, triggered some of Tyrese's mental health issues. I mean, the man is highly distressed about this and just the injustice around all of it. I really feel,
I think it's his fault.
I'm not gonna go that far.
I think it's his fault. I think it's his fault.
Why is it his fault?
Because you said it did his fault.
Yeah. I don't know. That's a valid argument. We'll go with it for now.
I just something.
Just because.
Yeah, just shits and giggles. Now I definitely Neka B, I agree with you. I don't care. I don't care who it is. That's way too much damn money at the end of the day.
It is.
I'm sure dude gonna get tired of doing this. And like you said, he just came out with a new song with Frank Ocean. Who you say he came out with a song with?
October London.
Okay.
You say Frank Ocean.
Frank Ocean.
He said tomato.
We'll check that out. We'll check that out at some point. But yeah, I hate that for him. Now let's get down to the real nitty gritty. What's been in the press is on every blog, is on every platform, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. You can't open your phone up without seeing it. You can't turn the TV up without seeing it. November 5th, 2024, the polls open. Or that's the official election day as far as getting up in now. We got our people on the ballots. Like the old folks say, the hair's in the barn. We're not here to talk about who's going to win, who's going to lose. We're not out here trying to get you to go register to vote. You need to be registered. If you ain't registered, get on up in there. The bigger picture about voting. And it's something that I thought about when I was younger. And the older I've gotten, it's very serious to me. A lot of people go to the polls. The day they open, there's going to be a lot of people at the polls. Old people, older people, younger people, first-time voters. Unfortunately, it's going to be a whole lot of people that want to be there that cannot be there. And those are convicted felons. Mm-hmm. Me personally, I'm just gonna come on out with it. I don't agree with that. I don't agree that because you've had a felony, you're not allowed to have a say in who ultimately runs the country. Me personally, I just don't agree with that. Before I get in my feelings about it and get to shooting off, I definitely want to hear Neka B and your thoughts on that.
Well, I'm 100% against it. As far as when I say against it, we quick to say when you do the time, when you do the crime, you do the time, right?
Yeah.
So then let that be if that's the case. Once I've served my sentence, I should have full voting acts restored. Period. I still have to live in this country, in a community. Whether what I do with that is up to me. Ultimately, after that, but give me my rights back. We cannot claim to be a country that prides itself on freedom and then have U.S. citizens who do not have a valid say-so in what goes on in their community. I'm still raising children. I can't even vote for the school board at that point. So that's a big problem and concern is what I'll say. There are currently 23 states in the United States that does allow full restoration of voting rights. The other states have to follow, need to follow anyway. I'll say that.
But do you think though, like even with that though, I don't even think they should ever be taken away.
Well, there are actually 2 states in the United States that you can still vote in prison.
Right.
As well as
and I agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree with that because it's laws being made for people in prison all the time.
There are.
So let me be if I'm a felon or if I'm a convicted felon, I'm locked up currently. Let me be a part of that.
And this is the thing. I don't have a dog in that fight. Like honestly, if I had to vote for it, my vote would be that once you've done your time, this should be restored. I'm not gonna block any. Let's say if a law was passed, I'm not gonna try to vote against if they said, "Oh, incarcerated individuals can't vote." I'm not gonna vote against it, right? And I've had relatives affected by this, so it's real personal to me. I've had, so I don't necessarily participate in behaviors that would cause me to be prone to being a felon. However, we are all one mistake, one decision away from that. Once I do my time, give me my rights back.
In some states, people who are behind on child support lose their voting rights.
Oh
yeah. And that's not right.
And
that's not right.
I was a part of that actually. So when Obama had his first term, I couldn't vote. At the time I had a felony. I could not vote. And as a young person at the time, it was kind of disheartening because that was like, you know what I'm saying? This might be my first time I can vote for real. Right. Now, the reason why I couldn't vote was definitely self-inflicted. But at the time I was able to, I was released. I was out. I was in school, and I'm at HBCU. So I mean, I remember the Obama vans riding by, and I want to vote. Goddamn, right. I think I wrote it down on paper.
What you didn't know was Kae Maree was driving one of them vans by.
Don't possibly help you to get your right back.
But even that, Kae Maree, even have to go through a process to get him back. That's just too much. It's horrible. Yeah. And then every state varies and is different. So I mean, the video that I sent y'all initially about this was, where Tennessee is a state we've all had connections with, right? So I thought it was very important. Right. There's so many different avenues you have to take in order to get they should be automatically restored. I've done my time. Period.
Yeah.
That's
like scraps. I don't think I think it should be extreme cases where and I'm trying to figure out what could have them taken in the first place, because incarceration, I don't think they should be taken if you're incarcerated. I think you should still be able to participate in this political system. It's a republic.
And so what I could not, for a week, I've been looking for this article, and I looked this up some years ago. And so everything that I'm about to say will not be verbatim. I looked this up some years ago. It happened long time ago. Like even like after the freeing of slaves, when we started incorporating jails and things like that in America. And it was basically looked upon of when you was a felon, you basically, they wanted to strip you down of everything to almost that you wasn't even a person.
Yeah.
Like you didn't matter anymore.
And so, that's how the system feels.
And one of the biggest rights America feel like you have is the right to vote. And stripping it away from you, along with other things of, you can't go stay certain places. You can't, You know, you can't fill out an application to get an apartment. You can't get jobs, and you get all that stuff stripped away from you. I mean, you're gonna feel low as the low.
And you might end up back in the prison system.
Yeah, it breeds recidivism.
Yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm. For sure. But that pisses me off because, I mean, like I said, I was that person. And it was very disheartening to me when I wasn't able to vote. You know what I'm saying? Especially when all my peers and stuff was able to. And then this is the first time, you know, I'm 19 years old and I'm seeing a black guy. Like you know, at 19, I don't really know nothing about politics and stuff like that.
And 08 was like a movement. So that was huge to be able to vote for the first black president. So that would have been huge for you. So I can only imagine how you felt.
Well, I ain't lose a whole lot of sleep, but I mean,
well, we glad you didn't.
I wasn't missing midterms about this and that like that.
No, but I think as a people, as a community, we have to look at how it disproportionately affects us. If you if you look at the incarceration rates, you know, so stripping us of those rights or having us jump through a million hoops to beg for what should naturally be our right, it definitely affects the black community more based on incarceration rates alone.
Yeah,
it's all tied in there together.
Even with a misdemeanor,
it's all tied in there together.
If you only locked up for 2 weeks and that's how long the ballot's open, you ain't voting.
That's right.
You just in there.
That's
you know what I'm saying? You ain't voting. And so it definitely puts you at a disadvantage as far as the people. Because one thing I will say at times that, you know, we will come together about some voting every now and then. And try to push the pin on it voting, but it puts us at a disadvantage, unfortunately, because incarceration rates, and then you got I know hella people out here that's, you know, they got felonies and all this. Life turned around. I'm talking about they got all type of youth groups and men's groups over here and built their own business, got this going on and pouring back into the community. Donating this and donating that and trying to get this, but I can't vote.
Now, and I'm just wondering if, like Neka, well, I think it was you, Coach Scrap, that said that shouldn't even be a thing. You know, people should not even lose their voting rights when they are convicted or in prison. In a country where a convicted felon is allowed to run for president, should that even be in place?
Absolutely not.
In a country where it looked like they might be trying to allow folks that are not citizens the right to vote. If you're a citizen already, how can they strip it when they want folks that are not citizens?
Okay.
All right,
so
what they get
things.
to jump in on it? No.
And the convicted felon running for president. It should not exist.
Absolutely. Both of you are right, 100%. It's got to go on both sides of the coin. And right now, you know, and as a people, we have to push for that.
That's wild though. That's wild.
That's wild as hell.
I can be a convicted felon and run,
but I can't. Convicted felons can't vote for him if they wanted to.
You hear me? That's crazy. And you have so
time
many
for change.
Yeah, it definitely is. But I think these type of conversations, and I know we're not. I'm pretty sure we're not the only one having these conversations. But having these conversations consistently, I think can help change some stuff. And I'm one of those people, like I've never been to like a city hall meeting or the town hall meeting. I've never done those type of things. And you know, the older I'm getting, the wiser I'm getting. And I want to start being a part of those things. Because I think it definitely has to change, and it's gonna have to start in small areas. But it definitely has to change because you're keeping the scale unbalanced. You're keeping the scale unbalanced.
And they want to.
And especially with something that just comes around every 4 years. And ultimately it's an important thing. You know, it's an important thing.
But those that come around every 6 and every 2 are almost probably more important.
Mm-hmm. More important. That's what I said. We shouldn't just be
the House and the Senate.
Yeah, not for sure.
House, Senate, yeah. City councilman, school board. Yeah, that's matter of fact, bottom up. My Big Killer Mike just had to straighten one of the women on The View. I was watching and she tried to kind of see Big Killer Mike. Now he gonna stand on what I don't agree with him on everything, but I appreciate him being willing to, in the moment, correct someone that tries to, and he talked about voting local. He said, now how are you going to be voting federally if you don't even know who your city councilman is?
Right.
Yeah.
They live on the next street over from you. You don't even understand what's going on in your city, but you want to be in the murkiness of a federal election.
Yeah. Right.
I know he created some programs in Georgia to help restore those.
Yeah. Much respect for him. Much respect.
Yeah, he's active. Yeah, he's active.
But I want to get to the point to where we ain't got to restore nothing.
That's right.
Like just let the man keep his voting rights and send them old slap them old papers down there up under that old door.
And so I have to pose the question: what are we so afraid of by allowing them to vote? What are we so afraid of?
That we might truly one day have equal rights.
The cup gonna tip over. The cup gonna tip over.
Yeah. And when you said that, it depends because things are so political, and it's like with gerrymandering, it's like things are so political, and it's like someone could be on this side, and that's why sometimes it seems like it's about race. Sometimes it seems like it's about your politics, because if one group wants to have, like, I remember once upon a time, Black folks were the largest minority group. Black folks are not the largest minority group anymore. And I want you to pay attention to how things shift and where focus goes. And there's going to be some folks feeling like, quote, red-headed stepchildren, because there's some things that folks didn't see coming. But as you're reflecting back on it, folks are going to say, well, why were some of those folks so idiotic not to know what was being done? So don't assist in your own demise. I would say that the ones that are picking up what I'm putting down, they feel me.
Yeah, no doubt. And it goes along with everything for me. Like, even when we look at, I think Kae Maree, did you say something about that earlier, Kae Maree? Like, if you're not paying child support or something, those two things ain't got nothing to do with each other.
They don't, except for the group that it might impact the most.
Oh yeah, for sure. Not for sure. For sure. But I'm saying, like, taking my voting rights.
Yeah,
because I was a couple dollars short.
I
was a couple dollars short. Come on, man.
Yeah, and if your kids are grown, fully grown adults, you shared the story about the 2008 election. My father was a nonviolent ex-felon. He did not get his voting rights back. And my father, you all know, you've heard me talk about my father, instilled that Black pride in me. And so I was so heavily involved and enthused by the 2008 campaign. And I made sure all of my family was registered. And so I went to my father to make sure he was registered. And my sibling is in his 40s by then. And because my father was not able to pay off that child support, he could not register to vote. But like you, Coach Scrap, he didn't lose a whole lot of sleep over it.
I'm sure he did not. I'm going to tell you something.
To me, more than affected
no,
him.
but that's utterly ridiculous.
I think maybe that's what he presented to me. He wasn't gonna. I don't think he would have allowed me to see how it may have made him felt dehumanized as a man to have that basic right taken from you. Like you said, when you're put in that prison system, they try to strip you down of everything.
Yeah.
Including self-esteem.
Yeah.
So, but he wouldn't have shared that with me if it did affect him like that.
Right. And do you think about all the other things, and I'll speak specifically for Black men that they have to encounter, and then to be faced with that, it's just another slap in the face, and it's horrible.
Right. I really ain't got no words for it. Like I said, I guess the older I done gotten isn't got like more important to me. And whether I do vote or don't vote, the fact that I can, is what's important to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you just hit it on the head, Kae Maree, with how you just described it. A basic right. Mm-hmm. Take the presidents out of it. Take the federal, like Pop said, take that out of it. I can't even vote for who's gonna be over everything for the school system my kids going to.
That's right.
I can't have no say so in the taxes that we're gonna pay around here, and the stuff that y'all want to build around the corner from y'all want to take the playgrounds out so the kids. I can't vote on none of that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, our vote is
I still got to pay taxes as a felony. I still
That's crazy as hell. That's crazy as hell.
I still got to pay that.
Yeah.
And our vote, that is how we advocate for ourselves.
Yeah.
And that's what they don't want. So in other words, you don't have a right once you make that mistake or you commit that crime. It doesn't matter how you worked on yourself, how you've improved, how you're now pouring into your community. You don't have a right to advocate for yourself and your family, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You said what are they afraid of? I was thinking about that. It might be that sometimes coming out of prison, you're the most informed. A lot of folks do a lot of reflection, a lot of reading, and they come out better men. And once you are able to read and comprehend, you don't follow the propaganda as much. And see, it's my opinion that some of the men with the most backbone and appropriate levels of testosterone are in the penitentiary.
Right.
And so when you come out and you're a man that will be the tip of the spear and walk headstrong into things, I do think that's what the powers that be, they are the most afraid of men with backbones and can think for themselves.
Right.
Black men in particular.
Afraid. Exactly. That's the group, Neka B. Because when brothers are solid, when they are not, because those solid guys, unfortunately, sometimes you get that level of testosterone, you straighten things out, and sometimes you straighten them out in a way that will have you incarcerated.
Right.
Kae Maree, I think your father was a man that would straighten things out. He was a formidable man. So,
you can see it on her.
Look at results. Because when you are an informed voter and you're not led by the propaganda, be careful. There are certain folks that are master propagandists. I mean, they're masters of manipulation. Such high level. I mean, they're brilliant in that regard because they know how to lead sheep. And folks that look like us, we have the biggest hearts. We're the most creative, the most soulful. But I know one thing, we give folks the benefit of the doubt a lot too. Because good-hearted folks. Exactly.
Yeah. To our own detriment. I'll say it. Yeah.
Exactly.
I used to give my son speeches all the time. Of course, when you're raising a black son, you got to do it a little different. So, you have the situation when they first start driving on what to do. And, I'm not saying he always listened, but, you have those those conversations. But one of the things I used to always stress to him is, about felonies and stuff like that. So the first thing they want to do as a black man, you may disagree or not, don't matter to me, but this is my truth for my family, is that they want to strip you of your voting rights, so you don't have a say so what goes on in your community, and the right to bear arms, so you can't as a man protect your family if you wanted to. What two things are more detrimental for a man? I'm not talking about, and I'm not saying it doesn't matter to women, but for a man who now I'm saying, and I'm speaking, I can go either way on it, but especially for non-violent felony offenders, that I don't have the right, once I've done my time, to protect my family. Someone comes in my home and I can't even, you see what I'm saying? So to me, that's a lie.
If bid, you can't fight.
Yeah, and that alone, the way you put it, Neka B, that.
Oh, babe, what you gonna do?
Home, you gotta do more than fight. You come up in here, you gonna feel the heat, baby. You gonna feel the heat.
So,
my fist won't work against no Tech 9, Mike. Scrap.
Neka B, the way you just described it, that can be emasculating.
Absolutely.
Especially to a black man.
It's meant to be that way. And again, I'm not saying it only happens to black men.
But
it affects us at a higher rate.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. And what does that do to the black man's psyche that he's not allowed to advocate for his family? He's not allowed to vote on the school board where his kids go to school. He's not allowed to protect his family. Because it don't matter how your hands are. If somebody breaking your house and they got a gun, those hands are they're not a match for that gun.
Right.
Now you
so what does that do to his overall psyche?
You're right. And I'm glad y'all spoke on it, because I'm gonna have to do a better job when I'm talking to young guys. I'm gonna have to do a better job of saying those things. I do a lot of mentoring stuff. I talk to guys, young guys all the time. I never bring it up to that extent. And I think Neka B, you spoke about it, raising a young black son. Because I've heard those things growing up before too. It never really got serious to me until you have the family. Mm-hmm. And you know, now it's like, well, damn, what would I do if I wasn't able to protect them?
Right.
What would I do if I wasn't able to, because if you're serious about your kids, you're gonna be serious about everything about them. Mm-hmm. What am I gonna do when I can't vote for stuff dealing with them? Right. So I'm glad y'all brought it up and it lets me know I need to do a better job. But I will tell you this. If a cat find out that you can't tote a pistol and them hands ain't about nothing, and they just walk up in your house, hey, leave the guns outside. He can't fight. And come in there and whoop your ass in front of your family. Let me tell you something. You ain't got to worry about it. You ain't got to worry about you. Because after you get your ass whooped, you got to leave.
Coach Scrap, long with some cast iron skillets, butcher knives, and clean. It'll be a joker 3 or 4 years old, but it'll be the hit a joker in the Achilles tendon. Messing with it.
But see, when this mono cat walk in there and say, "Look, I ain't bringing no guns in here because I know about you." Your son sitting over on the couch. Yeah, right. Your son sitting on the couch. Your daughter sitting over there got Kool-Aid stains on the onesie. Your wife walking down the stairs trying to figure out what's going on, and he like, square up. I want everything you know. Man, you get your ass. I'm telling you something. You get your ass. Well, first of all, you get your
that's ass. That's a time when the family got to come together.
Exactly.
His mistake was coming to the door in some Crocs. Yeah. Not battle gear, man. You look
right.
Man, at least have them in sports mode. But if you come to the door and some Crocs and some socks, you're bound to get handled up in there.
I'm gonna have my moves back. I'm jumping on top of somebody.
You better jump in. But the thing is, man, you get your ass whooped in front of your kids. That has to be that
changes the relationship.
Oh, you lost authority. You lost authority in the house.
You can't take curfew. Right, Kae Maree, right.
Daddy, get your ass up there and go clean the damn room.
You want to talk loud and do it with your ass.
Right. Let me call dude back over here.
Yeah. Have me some of that Worcestershire sauce, boy, if I whip your ass. Hey, your ass out of here. Huh? Who you talking to? No, I ain't doing homework today. You just let John come over there and whoop his ass in front of his family. God damn. He done lost his voting rights. He's goddamn. He can't say shit in the house no more. Geraldine don't want him no more.
But stop respecting it. Hey, next one won't even speak to him.
Yeah. The dog won't even bark when he come back.
Not the dog.
That damn dog don't want to talk to him. God damn, boy.
That's a rough scrap right there.
You cannot get your ass in front of your children, baby.
And it all started with that felony. He only had the right to bear.
You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? Not only do you have a felony, like what did you? And now as a son, I'm questioning.
That's so funny.
I'm questioning you. What the hell you get a felony for? Throwing a brick through the post office window? The hell you do?
Driving on remote license. That's all.
Right.
These days, right?
Yeah, I'm thinking you went and cleared out the whole house or something. What the hell you around here with wife beaters on and shit every day like you got them to kill her.
Right.
Soft ass motherfucker. That's what the son gonna be thinking. That's what the son gonna be thinking.
Scrap. This is gonna be a cautionary tale, a motivational video. It should be shown in our juvenile residential treatment facility.
Hey, don't get your rights taken, babe. Don't get your rights.
This scenario. Yeah. Don't let this be your story, right?
I'm trying to tell you. Funeral come up, folk talking good. Pastor talking good about somebody. Man, fuck all that. He ain't doing.
Somebody gonna get up and tell that story.
I was 7 years old. Motherfucker, listen back. Take my damn scooter. Let the man take the scooter out of the house and everything. You never protect me. That's crazy, man. Don't get your rights to man. Look, man, hey, to all my young cats on the block. Hey man, like Neka B said, you jump off in that car and you leave the house. Come back the same way you left. That's with all your rights intact.
That's it. Bottom line.
Seatbelt on, alive. Come on back the same way you left with all your rights. And the biggest one of all, I honestly feel like, you know, and I could just be talking out the side of my neck, man. I honestly feel like they're trying to slap their felon on those guys, especially you black young guys. They're trying to slap.
Oh yeah, they are.
Yeah,
you're not talking out of the side of your neck.
Yeah, if you don't the day you walk across this stage, if you don't sign up for their military, they slapping that felon on you. And then you're not even considered another number no more. You just out here. So next thing you know, you're getting beat up in front of your church. It's somebody out here that got their ass whooped in front of their child.
That's why and mental health treatment is important. Yeah, in order to recover from something like that, Scrap. I'm not. Look, let's just be real. Now there's a lot of sleepless nights.
You're gonna need some weekly sessions, right?
He down at the gym training out in front yard doing push-ups and rocking chairs.
And your son come out there, ain't none of that gonna work.
You should have done this before.
Yeah. You should have done this shit 2 years ago.
Training jujitsu and Muay Thai.
Yeah. Well, every 5 minutes, your son train. Like, let me see them hands like today.
Right.
Let me see if you're ready to go today, baby.
Got PSTD from that.
Motherfucker ring the doorbell, you go crazy.
You asking your daughter to get the dough.
Oh my goodness.
Like, come on, baby, come get that.
Baby girl, you don't mind getting that from me. But daddy, you right there about the dough. You're right. I gotta run up here and go get something.
This is for the man on the block. I don't know none of you like that. So we don't allow that type of activity on this block. So I'm gonna speak up for that. We're gonna wash all that energy out. Yeah. We don't do no flimsy lip wristed. There's some different type of on this block.
Gotcha.
They're gonna get
different type.
You definitely getting kicked out the block. Listen,
come over here with that.
And when this goes,
don't come over here with that.
Don't come over here with all that, baby.
This is what I want to do. Any young lady that they father ever asked them to open the door after the doorbell rung. Any young man that's seen their daddy get their ass whooped in front of them, and that has to be devastating. Any wife or girlfriend that you can see because you know a lot of them type of guys they talk a lot of shit, and so you gotta let them get their ass whooped. Any wife or girlfriend that your man got his ass whooped in front of you, I want you to comment in the comment section.
That's an immediate suspension from the block.
Yeah,
talking about knee jerk suspension.
I mean, will they be able to restore their rights, Pop? Will they be able to?
It's going to be case by case, but I'm going to say right now it's unlikely. It's unlikely. I mean, in extreme circumstances.
You and Coach not going. I mean, y'all not going.
We will let in felons. You can vote on this. You can vote on this. I want to know who got their ass whooped in front of their family. Now, if it was the whole collective family you got your ass whooped in front of, we're not even gonna deliberate about that. That's crazy. You don't get your ass whooped in front of your whole family, children included. That's crazy. That's crazy. I'm like Pops.
You should gain some inner strength from your kids being there, right?
Yeah, right. Somebody got some goddamn cast iron skills. So it's time to go out like
baseball game.
That's the secondary conversation. Now, if small likely somebody is being whooped in your family, and it's pots and pans and steak knives, and that something don't come out of that leaking, it's a problem.
Right, it's a problem.
That's so wrong, man.
It's a problem.
Family meeting.
You land the floor, you walking out with PlayStations and they ain't goddamn thing. I'm like, man,
pride just on the floor.
Your son crying, reaching for his cords and shit. You need goddamn cords.
Dragging him out to the living room, holding on.
Son got more heart than daddy did.
Listen, I want somebody to comment and tell us a time Your father got his ass whooped in front of you.
Right.
I got to know.
Somebody somewhere.
And I want you to put an address on it too. I need a name.
Also, tell about the time you went in the wrong house.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say they could do it anonymously, and then Coach said put a name on it.
Like, hey, we need an address.
Don't put your daddy out there like that.
Now, you use an alias, but you big bad dudes that went in the wrong house. Tell us that too, because I know in some of them houses you kicked in the door, you kicked in the wrong damn door.
Yeah, come on up here.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Be honest now.
Right.
The block likes honesty.
Right.
Bring the honesty to the block.
That'd be fucking. You kick a door in and somebody snatch your ass on there. Come on up here.
Now you trying to run out.
Now you getting held hostage up in this.
Son got a baseball bat to your head. You thought you was about to come in and take his PS5. You got this.
Doing it took one of them Crocs off, whooping your ass with the Croc.
Broke your ass in the house where they had all this damn baby oil on the floor. On your ass.
Hey, get a slippery slide. Get a slippery slide there, goddamn right. Hey man, keep them felonies off you, man.
That's the moral of the story.
Yeah, keep them felonies off you. Keep them felonies off your head. Because I'm gonna tell you, Kae Maree, gun, no gun. The way you describe your daddy, y'all probably wouldn't have to worry about that.
No, I don't think we would have. No.
It would have been some well whooped that ass, man. We walked up in there. Do something now that I didn't do at the beginning. I usually do it every episode. So I guess it's a great time to end with it. I still want to shout out my girl Kae Maree. I want to shout out my girl Neka B and the humble servant Pops. It's not another panel I want to be up here with. I appreciate you guys. This has been another episode of Black on the Block podcast. And until next time, y'all, keep the block hot. Peace out.
I say open the door and let me in. Teach your song, preach your sins. Turn the cheek, let it slide. Give 5 on the black hand side. The black hand side. Oh, black hand side, black hand side. Oh, the black hand side.